What's up, Inkie peeps? It's Adele from Inkie Quill, and today we're endeavouring to do something that I've put off for a while. But it's time to do it. 2 years ago? Wow, yeah, 2 years ago when I first started Patreon, I uploaded a video where I made album labels for my scrapbooks, and it's probably one of the most, apart from photo printing, it's probably one of the things that I get the most messages and questions about. And so it's time to update my 2018 labels now. So I'll show you, if you've missed that video, it would be July or August 2017 if you want to go back in the archives. But I love this way for labeling all of my scrapbook albums, and it makes me have a little peek into what that album's about without actually opening it up. And I'm a visual person, and I just like it better than words. So I'm going to show you what 2017 looks like, and then I'll show you what I'm working with for 2018. So I said 2017. I lie, it wasn't 2017 because 2017 is not done. It was 2016 that I did, and I also did the wedding album, so I'll give you a closer look. So I keep my albums on an IKEA Calyx. I think this is the first one though. This is the Expedit, and it's really handy. I've got this little nook inside my front door where the shelf fits perfectly, which is very handy. But I do want to change it so that it's just completely albums. We've got some containers down here that have like shoes and just junk drawers, really. You can see the totem tennis, which is out the front. We take the ball and the rackets in so it doesn't get stolen because it's just out in our front yard. But this is where they live, and it's just really nice to come in and see all of the little pictures there. I'm right near the front door if you hear cars going past as well. But Archie really loves to point out all of the different people in the photos. So this is when I started PL. So I started in 2013. I only started in August, so there's only one album. I think there's a flip through for that somewhere. And then I have my 6 wedding albums, and I just numbered them 1 to 6 as well, so that you could get, if you wanted before wedding pictures, you know which album to go, or the reception. And then we move along to, I'm trying to do this without making you sick. This is 2014, so these are all 12 by 12 albums. So I have 5 albums for 2014, and that was when I started traditional scrapbooking in 2015. So this album here are just layouts. It's when I kept layouts and Project Life separate, and I really enjoy putting them together now. Then we've got 2015, which is not completed. There goes a very noisy bus. So 2015 has 5 albums which are not done at all. Layouts and PL, and there's double scrapping, there's layouts that I've put in PL, and that's for a future Adele project. And then down here I have these glass doors that I screwed in ages ago, and I can't get them out. I hope my focus is okay. It's flashing at me. I don't know what that means. But that's where I keep my completed art journals and my Patreon master copies. And then this is 2016. So it's tricky to find photos that fit and alphas that fit as well. It can be a bit hard. I just realised I filmed that whole section on the wrong setting on my camera, so I hope that's okay. I'll check it before I edit this video. But for 2016, all of my albums already had, these are the 9x12s, they already had label plates, I guess you could call them. Whereas these ones up here, there were a lot of albums, like these two, I know for sure, which didn't have any album plates. So I just went on to eBay. I think I typed in label plate or label frame. Etsy would also have a lot of them as well. Lots of different sizes. I think mine are about 2 and a bit inches probably. And they're a really good size. But that's what I'm planning on doing today. It looks like it doesn't take long, but it's really fiddly and you can get it wrong very, very easily. So I'm going to show you a few tips that I found along the way that I wish I'd known beforehand. Alright, this next part's on the floor because I have a lot of albums for 2018. I ended up with quite a few, and I made a sad discovery. It's not sad, it's a first world scrapper problem. I thought I'd finished all of my albums. I found a sneaky album that has about 8 layouts still to go in it. So that will be next week's job. I'm just going to power through them. I don't even know if I'm going to film them all. I'm just going to power through and get them all done, but I'll show you my next step. So step 1 would be to make sure your albums are finished. I wouldn't recommend doing this until your albums are finished because you don't know exactly what's in what album. You might shift things around a little bit. So finish all your albums or have them mostly done, like me. And then step 2, I grab some post-it notes and I just write the time of year, so the month on each of the albums. And if you have multiple albums, that's really handy. If you've only got 1 or 2, you can probably just remember it. But that's the next step. So you can see all of my albums for this year have the plates already in there. And there are 9 of them. Oh gosh. And they're all full except this one has 2 layouts still to go, and then this is the cheeky little one that has 8 still to go. So I've left quite a lot of space in there because 8 layouts will add quite a bit of extra oomph to them. But that's 2018 summed up. Oh boy, Lord help us for next year. They just keep growing and growing. Sorry, you can see my my garbage bag in the background. It's just the real scrap talk here today. But I'm hoping I have shifted from 9x12 to 12 back to 12x12 this year. I did 9x12 for 3 years. Loved it, loved the size. So much easier to store, so much easier to work in. However, I'm hoping that with 12x12, it just gives me that little bit of extra space to add more photos in. I'm thinking for Project Life pages. And I'm hoping I don't have 9 12x12 albums for this next year, but you got to remember I'm having a baby in a few months. I still haven't done Archie's first 3 months. That's another project that needs doing. But yeah, I'm hoping 12x12 will give me a bit of extra space. I'm also kind of approaching my scrapping in a slightly different way, a flatter way for this year. I did do 23 pages at the retreat that I just went to on the weekend, and so I'm going to make a video for you guys over here on Patreon showing all of the pages that I've done and giving you a sneak peek of my 12x12 layouts for this year and how they're slightly different. They're not very different, but they're a little bit different. And so I'll explain all of that when that video comes up. But your next step, step 3, is to either, if you have leftover photos like I do, go through them, and I'll show you how I do that, or select if there's a main event or some significant photo that you love in each of the albums, and try and figure out a picture that you could use for each of the albums and that time of year. Or if you organize your albums via, like, is it the Stacey Julian method, like places we go or people we have, or if you just put albums in albums, baby brain, layouts in albums, and you just put them anywhere. Choose a favorite photo from that one and just roll with it. So a while ago when I was printing photos on my selfie, I often double print, and if there's photos that I like, or maybe they didn't quite work out, there's one of Poppet and Arch, I will print a second copy, and I keep these for my traveller's notebook, and they're all different sizes, and so I decided to go through these first before I printed any new photos. And I found a couple of pictures that I thought I could use, because the tricky thing here is, peeps, that you've got to make sure that you find something that is small enough to fit here without someone's face getting cut in half, or without losing the total picture. So something like this is perfect. It's a landscape. It doesn't matter if you cut a bit of the sky, a bit of the roof. This was from our trip to Tasmania, so that will be in one of these, I think this album here. So that's going to be a really, really easy one to cut down. This little photo is of Archie's first day of daycare, and that was September sometime. So one of these albums, these are the end dates. So I think it goes up to end of August, so it will probably be in this one, and you can see that's just the perfect little size to fit in there, and I'll of course cut it down so that it fits. This is just a cute photo of Archie on a swing, and although I will sadly cut Aaron out of the picture, it will fit Archie's little head there. What you can do to make this a lot easier is if you cut, often these albums come with a piece of card already in here. If they don't, you can just do what I've done and fold a post-it note or a piece of paper until you get it wide enough to fit in, and then I will probably just fold it there, and so you know that this is, oh excuse my chipped nail polish too, I haven't fixed my nails up from the weekend. This is the perfect size, so if you put it over your photo like so, you'll know that all of Archie will get in there but none of Aaron will, sadly. Then if you have a photo like this, so I've printed all of these on the Project Life app, just saved them to my phone and then printed them on my Canon selfie, and I am going to do that video. I know, it's a long awaited video that I keep putting off, I'm sorry. If you have a photo like this that isn't, oh no, it does fit. Well, there you go, it does fit. But if you have a photo that's too short, you can always just back it onto some pattern paper. And then I thought this one would be a cute one for Christmas. It's going to cut a bit of him off, but it'll get the picture. I'll probably put it up a little bit so you can see some of the Christmas tree. So I'm going to work out where these 5 go first, because I know I definitely want to use them. I need 9 pictures, however. These I'm hoping might fit into the months. I don't know exactly when these are. I know this one's towards the start of the year, maybe April. So I'm hoping it's that album. And, you know, if you accidentally use a photo that's a month or a week before, no one's going to really know. So, yeah, just work with pictures that you like. So I'm going to figure out all of my photos and then cut them down and show you where I'm up to. Alright, we're making progress, peeps. We're making progress. I've cut up a lot of little photos. So you can see I have cut my photos. So this was just a random photo that I found. I didn't have one for January. This album is Archie's first birthday, so luckily I could find one from Archie's first birthday. Our Tassie trip. This one, I'm going to be honest, I don't know if it happened in this album. I had a flick through and I didn't look very carefully, but it's about this time, so we're rolling with it. This one is actually on the first page of the next album, but I didn't want to, I wanted to have Archie's backpack because starting daycare was, you know, pretty special. So I just popped this one in here. You know, it's about the same time. It's a week's difference. Like I said, doesn't matter. And then we've got our holiday and some Christmas pics. So what I'm going to do now is move up to the desk. In previous, I think I'm going to number these just because there is so many of them. And I'm also going to try and find some tiny alphas too. So if you didn't want to use photos, you could very easily do this with pattern paper. You could also, if you're a mixed media person, do some painty backgrounds. It would look really cool in rainbow, I think, if you had several albums. Something that's bothering me slightly is, I don't know why I did it, but when I started 9x12 3 years ago, Studio Calico had several different coloured albums. And I bought all different coloured albums, and I don't know why I did, because all of the previous years kind of had a theme. Like 2014 was black and white, 2015 was all florals, and then I just changed to multicoloured, and you know how I feel about multicoloured. So yeah, I think for now I'm just going to put the labels in, because you can very carefully slide them out if you kind of get your fingernail in there and smush it up a little bit. But one day I think I will change it so they're all the same colour. Now, if you didn't have nameplates, this is an important step. If you didn't have nameplates, I would suggest getting some off eBay. They were, I think they were about $5 for a bag of, or 12, 10 or at least 10 or 12. So they're affordable, and I used hot glue to glue mine on. What I did was, when I did those albums that didn't have a nameplate already on them, I think I stuck the label. I tried sticking the label to the metal plate first and then hot gluing the whole thing to the album. That was easy, but it meant that I couldn't take the label back out again. I couldn't take the photo back out. So if you want to be able to take the photo out, you just have to be careful with how you glue the metal plate on. But they were easy to get. I'm pretty sure it was like metal. Oh, it could have been book plate. Metal book plate. That might have been what I typed in. So see how you go. I bought mine like 4 years ago, so, and they've just been sitting around, so the link wouldn't work anymore. But I'm going to take it up to the desk and try and find some little alphas, just put a few little finishing touches on these pics, and then get my albums done, except for the 8 layouts that I still have to do. Alrighty, time for the prettifying. I've just gone through my alphas, and it was tricky to find a set that had 1 to 9 all there. A lot of them were just missing like 2s or 3s, which is a bit frustrating. So I've got these two. One is black and gold, and then the other is blue. And I think I'm leaning towards the black and gold, just because a lot of the photos have darker areas on them that I think I can put it through. And I might save these for 2017, which I haven't done yet. And when I rearrange all of the albums, I might make all of those albums that minty colour, and then save 2018. I'm getting all of my years mixed up. Save 2018 to be maybe the grey albums, or the pink. Maybe the pink. That might look cute. So I'm going to go through and just, I think I might start with 9. Why? Because I can. And I'm just going to try and find a spot that I can stick it on without it intruding on the rest of the photo. Like, I don't want to obviously put it on his face, but I don't want to cover up the Christmas tree. So I think I might put it there. You could also put them in the same spot on every photo. You also don't need to put numbers. I just really like them, and it helps when I'm putting them back on the shelf as well, to know what order they're meant to go in. Now, something that I did do, this one is too skinny, so I will need to, I accidentally cut it too thin, and I will need to back it onto a scrap piece of paper or something. Oh, it looks so tiny here. Something to also remember is that you will have the edge of the book plate, so I wouldn't stick anything right up against the edge because it might get chopped off. Not chopped off. Where did that come from? Where did that, was that on my finger? Strange. But this is something that you kind of need to, you need to be in the mood for fiddly things, and I haven't been, which is why I haven't done them yet. And my 2017 albums are still not done, and I only labelled those other ones because it was driving me crazy that I didn't know which was which. With one of the other ones, I had these teeny alphas. They were so small. I think they were by Kaisercraft, and I really loved them. I wish I had them. So I think I might, I've got a couple of options here. I could just write on white paper the month that these start in. I could leave it. I could do the month that it starts, or I could do like Jan to Feb, March to May, whatever they are. Or I could grab my typewriter and do typewritten strips. I might do typewritten strips and see how small I can get them. I might do them on my computer so I can make them extra teeny, and then stick those on, and then some other little embellishment, maybe like a little gold heart or something small. Alright, I'm back and I have some teeny tiny typing. I used, I think it's another typewriter. I think that's the font that I used, just a free font. And I tried a few different sizes. The smallest one I think is 5.5, and I think I'm going to go with that one because it's still quite easy to read. I also tried the difference between having a space on either side of the hyphen as compared to having no space, and I think I'm going to do the space in the smallest size. So to save you watching me cut all of those out and struggle greatly with sticking those down, I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll figure out something else to add to them and then slide them in the albums and hope that they all fit and I haven't made any typos. Alright, all my months are now stuck on here, there and everywhere, and I've just punched some teeny tiny stars because I just, you know me, I like to embellish and I like to just add a little extra something. So I'm just using my glossy accents to stick this down, just to not have to fiddle with double-sided tape. Definitely wasn't going to do that. But B, the nozzle on the glossy accents is quite small, and so for these tiny little labels and stars, it works a treat. But just be careful if you do use glossy accents that you don't smudge it everywhere, because it's glossy and it will accent your work. But I'm really pleased with how these have turned out. It's given me some motivation to try and reconfigure those shelves, because currently my 2018 albums actually live in my craft room on a shelf or under my desk stacked up, and so it will be good to, oh, phone's calling, it will be good to actually get those on a shelf, but there's no room for them currently. And here they are, ta-da! All finished, and I really like the way that the typewritten months look. I wasn't actually planning on putting the months when I first started doing this, so I'm glad I realized that I don't need specific tiny alphas. I have a computer that can compute all of the things. But they were easy to do eventually, just a bit fiddly to find the photos and get all of that done. But I hope this has given you some inspiration to label your albums. Let me know in the comments if you do label your albums or if they're unlabeled. I'd also love to know how many albums you have. I'm always curious about people's shelves. I have a real thing for bookshelves and having them all look like nice and pretty and all the books lined up, and scrap albums are no different. So I'd love to know how many albums you've got, if they're labelled, if they are labelled, how do you label them? If they're not labelled, then that's cool too. I don't know what question I was going to come after that, but I'm glad I got this done. I now just need to find some space. I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted to buy a 5x5 calyx unit from IKEA just for albums and put it in the dining room possibly. The problem is, because we're in a rental, we can't attach anything to the walls, and so I don't really like to have any of my big bulky bookcases out where Archie could climb them, because he does like to climb, and so yeah, I don't know. Or even maybe our bedroom has a really long like hallway part to it, maybe even in there, because Archie doesn't go in there without us. So if you've got a 5x5 calyx and a 4x4 or a cube shelf, let me know, is the 5x5 worth it, because it is that bit bigger? I don't know. I'd have to also move out of my nook of the front door as well if I did that. I don't know, but I am going to have to come up with some other solution for the front bit there with all the shoes and stuff, because I do want all my albums together. That would be nice. How do you store your albums? Let's just album chat. Hit me up with all the album chat, because it's something that I think we don't talk about a lot, especially on like scrolling through Instagram. A lot of the scrapbooking content that I look at are finished layouts, finished PL pages, or craft rooms, and not necessarily album storage. So let's have a bit of a chat about what we like about our storage and what we don't like, and we might be able to get some tips and tricks off each other. Hope this helped. I really have been wanting to film this video for a long time. I've been wanting to do 2017 for a long time, but alas, that's for another time. Thanks so much for watching today, peeps. I am going to edit this video and get it up tonight, and then I've got some more videos to work on tomorrow. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see, always let me know in the comments. But the bump, oh, she's moving. A little bump update. She's moving around. Ophelia kicking, and Aaron felt a kick, which is really exciting. And she's looking, oh, you can't really tell in this, but she's there. I've bumped out a lot. So I'm gonna go put my feet up because they're starting to swell, and edit some videos. Alright guys, I'm rambling now. I'm procrastinating from editing this video, so I'm gonna go and maybe have a little piece of chocolate to reward myself for doing these. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye!